happening? It's your girl Mercedes Eileen. Welcome to my channel. If you are returning, thank you so much. Make sure you like this video, and also if you are new, go ahead and subscribe and like this video and comment. All the new moms, comment down below. If you're a long time mom too, if you're a seasoned mom, you know, go ahead and give me some advice down below or something like that. This video, as you can see by the title, is about basically me coming into motherhood, my whole experience having a baby. So yeah, let's get into it. If you've seen my previous videos, and you would know my pregnancy was not as planned at all. It did not go as planned at all whatsoever. It was a very stressful pregnancy, and I did have some concerns as far as that went, because I was hoping that my baby didn't suffer from what I was feeling during my pregnancy or whatever. So about 3-4 weeks before I actually had my baby, I started to feel some extreme anxiety. Like, I felt anxiety before, but never to the point that I felt it like when I was coming towards the end of my pregnancy. I was literally having panic attacks on the way to work, so I had to stop working because I would show up to work with my face just covered in tears and snot and just like panicking. I would have a panic attack if I had been at work all day, and it was just bad. It was pretty bad. So I stopped going to work about 3 weeks before I had my child, if I'm not mistaken, like in the middle of October. Leading up to that, I was actually pretty cool, calm and collected after I stopped working. I didn't really have a reason to be anxious other than, you know, thinking about other things that had to do with the pregnancy, but not like in that moment. I didn't have anything to be anxious about. My doctor and I basically scheduled me to have the baby November 3rd. She was going to induce me November 2nd, and then I would have the baby later on in the day, November 3rd. And I think they said we had to be there at like 7 o'clock. She wanted me to be at the hospital at 7 p.m. Us getting to the hospital would take about an hour, so it was around 5 o'clock when I got a call from the hospital. So they tell me like, oh yeah, you're supposed to be here at 7 o'clock today, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's November 2nd. They're like, yeah, November 2nd, 7 o'clock. I'm like, yeah. And they tell me, well, don't come. I was like, what? It's like, yeah, we're actually a bit full right now. We don't really have a room for you. So until we have a room for you, we're just going to have you on hold. If we don't call you by 11 o'clock tonight, call and see if we have a room open. So I tell them, I'm like, look, they said not to go up there until I call them. And the lady actually made it seem like it could be the next day that they will call me instead. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm going to have her on the 4th. Actually, I forgot to say, the night before this, on November 1st, we were putting stuff together, like her little swing and her bassinet, and I was just like so anxious. Like anxiety came over me that I've never felt before. Like I literally felt detached from reality, and I just didn't want to do any of it anymore. I was like, I don't want to do this no more. Like I was like, I don't want to have the baby no more. Like I don't know how we're gonna get this done, but I don't want to have the baby no more. Like I don't want none of this stuff. Like, and I remember like doing my hair and just forcing myself to do my hair because I really did not want to do it. Like I felt so anxious, and I just wanted everything to stop because it was so overwhelming. But of course we had to keep doing what we were doing. You can't stop a baby from coming. So it's like I kind of just fought through it, but it was literally one of the worst feelings I've ever felt. Like, oh, it felt so bad. Like it was like anxiety along with something else. But it could have been that I was just completely overwhelmed, and I've never been that overwhelmed before. So fast forward November 2nd, about 10 o'clock, 10-ish, I get a call from the hospital again. They're like, yeah, you can come in. Can you be here at 12 a.m.? So I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, I hate that everybody got to get up out of their bed and come, but it's cool. It was basically my mom, my dad, my dad's girlfriend, and my grandma, which is my dad's mom. So basically I get everything packed up in the car. We got the car seat in the car. I was going to bring my big ass body pillow, but then I was like, nah, because it's going to be too much. But I did bring, what did I bring? I don't think I took anything to the hospital, actually. Like, I just had my clothes for me to get there and get back. And, you know, of course, my baby bag. And her baby bag is so cute. Let me let y'all see. This is her baby bag. These are our little things that they had around our wrist, the wristbands that they have for us at the hospital. I put those in there. I'm actually going to make like a little scrapbook, But I'm really slacking because I should have been. I started my scrapbook, but I've just been so like busy becoming a mother, like it's crazy. My sister-in-law got it for me, which I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. So I get to the hospital, and I'm gonna actually put a picture up here of me at the hospital. I was just basically like trying to wrap my head around what was about to happen because I knew that having a baby hurt. And all I had been told before was that it felt like pooping. And I was like nervous about it, like, because I have a low pain tolerance. So I was just like really nervous. And I think about probably 1 o'clock after I got in there and I got settled in, they gave me these pills. I don't even remember what they were called, but they gave me some pills to induce my labor. And she was like, we're going to give you half now, and then later, if you don't start to induce fast enough, we'll give you the other half. So I take the pill. After that, I fall asleep. I wake up. My mom and my grandma are still up. At the time, just my mom and my grandma were there. My dad actually ended up coming the next day. But we were just laying in there. I fell asleep a little bit, and then I woke back up. And I was starting to feel a little bit of, it wasn't even pain. I would just say it was a sensation. Like it felt like I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, so I started feeling those feelings, and I got on the bouncy ball. And it's like when I got on the bouncy ball, it's not called the bouncy ball. What is it called? Is it an exercise ball? I don't know. You know, the big ball that people sit on when they're pregnant. And some people used to exercise even when they're not pregnant. But I was just sitting on that, and it was starting to hurt. I had actually planned to do a vlog, but it's like the pain just started getting worse and worse. And it's like the more pain I felt, the less I cared about doing a vlog. Each hour, my motivation was going down. So I'm going to fast forward it to about 12 p.m. on November 3rd. I was in pain. Child. 12 p.m. November 3rd, it was hurting real bad. And so they were like, okay, we're going to give you the epidural. So they were putting the epidural in my back, and it was very, very painful. Like, I have a low pain tolerance. And so when they were doing it, like, she kept having to do it over and over again. Not even because I was moving or nothing like that. Like, she just kept having to do it again. I don't know if she wasn't doing it right or what. But it hurt really bad. And I was crying. And then, like, I just had a random feeling of, like, I'm literally here having this baby by myself. Like, not without support at all, but just thinking about, like, damn, when I imagine having a baby, I imagine like her father being there and it just being a whole beautiful thing, but that's not what I got to experience. So it kind of hurt my feelings in that moment, and I started like boo-hoo crying. I'm like, I'm going through all of this pain to have this man's baby, and he's not even here. It was really bothering me. So I started boo-hoo crying, and then she was like, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing, it just hurts. And then she was just looking at me like, bitch, I know something else wrong. But I didn't want to tell her because I didn't want them thinking like, oh, she's having mental health issues, da-da-da. Like, no, I didn't want that to be a worry. So I just told her it was nothing or whatever. And they finally got the epidural in. And then they tried to put this thing in my pee hole. It was called a catheter. 0 out of 10, do not recommend. I literally could not handle it. Like, I couldn't take it. I made them take it out because it hurt too bad. It hurt way too bad. 2-3 p.m., I'm hurting even worse. And the epidural is kind of helping. It doesn't feel as bad, but it was still pretty painful. Like, I was still feeling some pain. At 6 o'clock, I'm 9 centimeters dilated. And she's like, okay, we're just waiting. And I'm still having the contractions. I'm just breathing through them. I did not cry during my contractions, and I'm so proud of myself because I thought I was going to cry, but I did not. I never cried throughout the whole process. I was just wailing. Going through that whole process, it was really painful. It was probably like 5 o'clock when I was 9 centimeters, and then I think 6 o'clock is when I got 10 centimeters. So then they bring everybody in. She's like, all right, we're about to do it. Like, you're 10 centimeters dilated. I skipped a few parts, actually. Like, whenever she broke my water, that hurt really bad, and she barely got to break it. Like, no water even came out, so we thought my water wasn't broken, but it actually was. She nicked it a little bit, but the water was behind my baby instead of in front of her. because her head was already on my cervix. I could have told her that. We started pushing about 6:30, 6:45. We in there pushing. And it's feeling cool. I'm like, okay, I can get through this. They like, push. I'm like, ah! And they're like, don't scream. Like, you can't, like, basically you can't give all your power to the push if you're screaming because you're using it for your vocal cords, I guess, or whatever. So they was like, don't scream, just push. And I was like, like taking a big shit. Like, that's what it felt like, pushing to take a big shit. I just remember my grandma was on this side of me, my mama was on this side of me, and I'm just pushing as hard as I possibly can. And I'm like, it's not coming out. They're like, if you can get this right, she'll come out in 3 pushes. I'm like, okay, 3 pushes. Pretty sure my face looked like that. Like, I was pushing for my life because I wanted her to come out in 3 pushes, but she was not coming out. And so, like, about 7 o'clock, I'm still pushing. And at this point, it's starting to hurt. Like, I think her head was, like, actually coming out. Like, the ring of fire was happening. And her head was actually, like, coming through the hole. So I think that's why I was hurting so bad. And so they're like, do it again. 1, 2, 3. Then I could feel it coming out more. And I'm like, okay, this fucking hurts. Like, I'm telling her this hurts. They're like, no, you got it. Come on. It was like 7 people in the room at this point. Like, my mom and my granny, and then, like, nurses. It was just like 5 or 6 nurses. And one of the nurses, it was time for her to leave. But she was like, no, I've been here. I'm going to see this baby get delivered. I'm not leaving until this baby is here. So I'm steady pushing. Ah! And then she's like, I know what'll help. I'm like, what? And then she's like, put your feet to the ceiling. Like, she told me to put my feet to the ceiling. So I put my feet to the ceiling. Next thing I know, I feel something poking me. I was like, what the f*** is that? And then she's just like, push. I'm like, what? Like, no, I feel something sticking me. So she was actually sticking me with an anesthetic, so that I couldn't feel what she was about to do next. I got my feet up in the air, and they're like, 1, 2, 3. And so I'm pushing. And I stop, and I'm breathing. And then they're like, 1, 2, 3, push. And then my doctor, I only know this because my mom was watching her, but my doctor is down there like cutting me. And then finally, like, it was like such a bad pain with pushing her, the last push. But when she finally, like, came out, she came out all together. Like, so it was just so, oh my God, it was the biggest relief ever. Like, it felt really good to push her all the way out. And then, like, they put her on my chest, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I felt like they sat an alien on my chest. And she was just like, ah. Like, she still does that to this day. My baby, she still does that, like, now when she's asleep in her sleep. Like, I think she be dreaming about being born again, and she used to be like, they sat her on my chest, and it was just wet and disgusting. I was like, oh my God, this is my baby. It was so dramatic. And then my grandma cut the umbilical cord. She was crying. Yeah, she cut the umbilical cord. And then they finally took her and did all of that other stuff. But I really don't even remember what was happening then, because I was just so, like, out of it. Because that was some traumatizing stuff. Like, that's an event. That was an event. After that, we went through the whole process. They cleaned her up and they put her in a thing, and I'm just looking at her. And my dad's like, yeah, that's so-and-so baby. That's so-and-so baby. That was so funny. When I tell you, like, that was the first thing he said about her, like, who her daddy was. And I was just like, tell me something that I don't know. So that was basically the story of my labor and delivery. It was a very crazy, life-changing experience. I personally do not see why anyone would want to do that more than once. If I am never to be married to a person that actually wants another child, like, I won't be having another child. Like, I don't know. I say that now. I'm only 21, so I could get older and want more kids, but with the mindset that I have now, like, I'll probably not even have any more kids because that was painful. But I kind of want to give myself a chance to do pregnancy over again with a supportive partner present. Does that make sense? Like, I'm kind of traumatized from it because I could be made a single mother again, but then again, I want it to happen just to give me that chance of having a good pregnancy, like a good experience pregnancy wise. That's basically what happened. I'll probably make a video on motherhood so far next. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you haven't already, and comment your labor and delivery experience, or if you have a comment on something that I said, go ahead and comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, and be blessed.